Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 TS Hub. This is the Prestige tier, this is a top tier, and here we are in Abu Dhabi for the final time on F1 2017. This is season 11 and this is our top tier about to go head to head in the Az Marina circuit. So always a good show is what Abu Dhabi puts on for us, and we've got 19 drivers today, so looking good for numbers, high in attendance, and being our top tier we expect nothing less than the very best of what the drivers have to offer across the F1 community here. So welcome to the stream everybody. Just to let you know, the Pinnacle tier is also live at the moment. Ada Diaz is absolutely storming away with that one for the win, so good job on his part, and he looks like he'll be set to take another full 25 points. We can also mention that earlier Reflo won, so could we see 3 Williams win? We'll have to see. We know that Louis is storming around this track. He's been the pre-race talk heading into this one. Everyone out on an outlap except for Sean, VSO Charles, Tempfear and Heskey so far, so they're just sitting in the garage getting ready, getting the car ready, getting their mindset ready. And yeah, if you're wondering why Alan isn't here, he's out tonight, so you'll have to be stuck with me until Oz joins me in the commentary box, and then we'll be back to a duo. But looking forward to this, I really am. And it was so close in qualifying in the Pinnacle tier at 8 PM, so I expect this one to be ever so close as we flick through the drivers. Sean now out on an outlap, so it's just VSO Charles and Heskey time who are sitting in the pit lane. But yeah, look at these guys actually getting pretty close. The Sauber's ghosting, so yeah, Francis ghosting at the moment. Bit of a strange one as he comes to start his lap. So Techno Thriller, of course, moved up from podium tier last season, so for this season he's in the top with the big boys. BSAS, he heartbreakingly got disqualified off the grid for no reason. The game penalised him, disqualified him for saying he reversed off the grid last time out in Canada in the Canada rerun. But we all know that wasn't the case after watching his footage, but it's the way it goes sometimes, hard luck. Louis, what can he do? As I mentioned, looks like 2 Williams are going to win. Can he make it a full house for Williams tonight? We'll have to wait and see. DRS is open, one of the longest straights on the F1 calendar, this one, as they head down into a heavy braking zone before we get another straight just after it. So we'll ride on board with this Williams for now, see what he can do. And we'll see who's going to be the first driver to set a lap time with under 8.5 minutes left in the session. This third sector, of course, being one of the most important. It's got a lot of corners, it can gain you a lot of lap time. No, it pumps in a 35.8, so first man to set a lap time at the moment. And who's going to be next? Black Mamba on 9 tenths off that. So they're brothers, the first two, 1 and 2 provisionally. I'm sure it won't stay like that, but we'll have to wait and see. Just riding on board with Louis. Black Mamba to Odems comes 6 tenths off. Mally jumps in close to Odems' time. What can Louis do? Is he going to smash the field apart here as he exits the last corner? And he must have invalidated. So there you have it. Wasn't able to do anything with that lap time. He's going to go for another one. Heskey's still in the pits, the only driver to stay in there. Julian hasn't had the best lap. He's already on 135, so we'll see who else is on the flyer. The two Mercedes are. Brady in 5th position now, Malloy up there in 7th, MLA jumps into 8th, Kian, 2 esports drivers of course, MLA and Kian in 8th and 9th position, James Slater in 10th, Switchy not set a competitive lap time just as of yet. Let's see what Tempfear can do in his Mercedes, scores his first points of the season, did the Season 5 champion. It's going to be a corner cut, which is obviously going to prove tricky this session. This is one of the tracks where corner cut is set to strict by the race stewards, and Pisas in 3rd at the moment. But yeah, it often catches drivers out. The smallest mistake can completely ruin your lap time. So yeah, another challenging bit of bit of rule making there for these guys, but they're our top tier, the top drivers. We expect them to be able to deal with that pretty well. What can Louis do? As he invalidated his first time he's into the pits. What can VSR Francis do? He doesn't quite hit his apex on the last corner, riding a ball, then he crosses the line. It's a 37.1, so yellow flags in sector 2. A lot of these drivers will be coming into the pits now, get a fresh set of boots, get the fuel to how they'd like it. Techno Thriller's on a quick one. I imagine he'll only complete this if he's up by quite somewhat. Switchy bumps it into 7th position with that lap time. That's decent for himself. Just recovering from a cold, so if you hear me sniffle and cough, that is why. Temp Fear goes past back marker. This doesn't look like the quickest laps. He might come into the pit. Yeah, he's going to do just that, as is Louis, who's yet to set a lap time. Heskey time going alternate to what everyone else is doing. He's come out whilst the track's probably going to be at his quietest, and he'll look to set his one and only flying run. I imagine he'll be able to get 2 laps out of it if he drives in lean. Pinnacle race, by the way. Lap 27 out of 28, penultimate lap. Ala Diaz still leads, Woman in 2nd, Sam in 3rd, Matt in 4th, Josh in 5th, Stifler in 6th, Gather in 7th, Nick in 8th, Ols in 9th, who'll be joining me in the commentary box shortly, and Farth in 10th, Matty down in 11th, Ollie in 12th. We can see that Chopper, Flexi and Cloudy Balloons have retired from the session, so they've lost 3 runners. We've got 19 here today in the Prestige tier. Mid-season break last time out, which is why we weren't live, but this tier got to go again. They had the Canada rerun, so myself and Alan were here for that one, and Odems took the victory, so another driver to claim a win here in this season, and it's been pretty competitive. Look at the field. 1.3 covered the top 15, so even a long track like this with lots of corners, you know, lots of chances and opportunities to make mistakes, it's still pretty close out there, which is great to see. A lot of drivers in the pits though. Running on board with Heskey time. He's obviously picked a quiet time to come out. You can see that Odems has come back out, so as does Louis. Louis put enough in for 2 laps, so if he invalidates one, he's got another chance. I think Odems has done the same, but he's actually running rich, so that tells me that he's going to try and burn some fuel off before he starts his flying lap. What can Heskey time do as he comes down one of the back straights, heading into the final and 3rd sector. Very tight, technical sector this one. Lots of curbs. Takes a lot of the curve on that one. I wonder if that was invalidated. The sun glaring at you through this section of track. I always found it really difficult to concentrate. Got to pick your braking zone. The harder that corner, the harder, the more your tires wear, the harder it gets. Looks like a aggressive lap here from Heskey. We'll see what he's able to do. If it's not invalidated, of course. He's coming into the pits, so I don't think he'll have enough time to get in and get back out. No, I don't think he will, so he could be starting 19th place without a lap time. Louis just about to start his flying lap now. Odems also on a flying lap just out in front of him. I'll get in trouble if I don't give Odems any airtime in his Red Bull, so we'll watch him through this first sector on those ultra soft tyres. Every driver on the ultra soft tyre here tonight, all trying to get inside that top 10. Odems has to deal with a little bit of traffic there. He's got some more in front of him as well, so going to get some slipstream. Driver's being very respectful so far. Hits his braking zone pretty well. Nicely on the curves. We saw a lot of drivers in the podium tier earlier tonight taking too much of that curve. It's not the best way to get the best exit. What's going to happen here is the Williams is going to let him through. That'll be Kian. So Louis got all this traffic to get through as well. We'll keep an eye on those changes at times. If there's any position changes. Odoms again, another car he has to pass. Louis got to do the same, perhaps in a worse place. Getting right out of the way are some of these cars. Everybody out except for Heskey Time. So 18 drivers are going to give this a go. And look at that. Gets held up. Louis gets held up by the Toro Rosso. Definite there. It's going to cost him. Odoms does improve. Louis pumps it into second. I reckon that would have been a pole time had he not got held up by that Toro Rosso. He'll go again. Odoms is going again, but Odoms has traffic. He's got Matty right in front of him now. So Matty's also on a quick lap. I imagine he won't have to move out of the way. So this will be an interesting one. What's Odoms going to do? He's going to back off and call it a day. So frustration a little bit there. Such a long track, you wouldn't necessarily expect traffic to be an issue. Temp Theory yet to set a time. So it looks like he's just crossed the line without enough time to complete another run. So that's really unfortunate from Temp Fear there. 1.3 cover the top 16 at the moment. Techno Thriller, he crosses a line. Only good enough for 11th. Second off pole. Provisional pole. The race has ended, by the way, over in the Pinnacles here. Hopefully everyone joins us for this one. Brady puts it on the top step, just beats Noack time at the moment. That's a good lap time. Kia looks like he's slightly holding up a Ferrari, so these drivers not doing a very good job of finding themselves a clean bit of track. Yeah, the Ferrari looks like really being held up. VSR Louis sets the provisional pole. Can anyone beat it? Noack down to third at the moment. Black Mambas retires from the session. Julian, what can this man do? He's slowly climbing up the standings with good points hold every single race. Two VSRs on the front row at the moment. Odoms in fourth position, half a second off. What can Julian do? He crosses the line. He jumps up to fourth, so that knocks Odoms down. So look at that, so close. 1.3 cover the top 16 now. And that is pretty much your lot. Switchy comes into the pits. So Kian sneaks into 11th place. Mally just keeps inside the top 10. Charles only in 9th position. Beastas, the defending champion, will start from 8th. So we'll wait for this timer to count down, and then we will bring you the full confirmations of results. Haven't spoken much about Sean. He's ended his session with a missing front wheel, but he will start from 7th place. MLA down in 14th, his teammate. And of course Sean joined me in the commentary box on Thursday in the official practice sessions. Interesting, Malloy down in 13th as well, so he was so promising on qualifying night round Bahrain. 13th is where he's going to start. He's been having a battle with Switchy, Kian, MLA, those sorts of drivers the last couple of races. Well, there you have it. Louis takes pole, Brady in second, Noack third, Julian fourth, Odoms fifth, Black Mamba sixth, Sean seventh, Bisas eighth, Charles ninth, Mally 10th, Kian 11th, Switchy is in 12th, Malloy in 13th, 14th MLA, Techno Thriller 15th, James Slater 16th, BSR Francis 17th, Temp Fear in 18th, yet to set a time of course, and same as Heskey Time, he will start in 19th. Temp Fear did more sectors, which is why he will start ahead of Heskey Time. So there we have it. Our Abu Dhabi grid for the Prestige Tier Season 11. is decided. Now the drivers will need to pick their fuel, pick their strategy, and of course from 11th downwards they'll be able to pick what tyres. Don't forget, Late Night Talk Show will be back this week at 10:30 PM UK time, so make sure you tune into that, where we'll have all the driver reaction, and we'll have a chat and find out some of the most exciting moments from today's races. Of course, 3 tiers at F1 TS Hub, Podium at 7 PM, Pinnacle at 8 PM, and Prestige at 9 PM. You can see a Mercedes front wing ready for use there. I wonder if they're gonna be fitting a spare one of those. Formation up underway. Give the drivers a chance to have a feel. It gives us a chance to figure out who's on what tyre. So we can see that the top 12 all start on the Ultra Soft. Kian and Switchy will have brand new Ultras. We can also see that Malloy is on the Supers, MLA is on the Soft. He did that strategy in the practice session on Thursday, so he knows what to do with that one. Techno Thriller's on the Ultras in 15th place. James Slater's on the Supers. VSR Francis is on the Softs. Temp Fear is on the Supers. And Hesky Time is on the Softs as well. So pretty competitive, pretty interesting tyre choices to say the least. And hopefully we won't get any glitches off the start. No DSQs for reversing on the grid. Hopefully we'll get everyone cleanly through the first lap. Although I'm sure someone will try something somewhere a little bit risky, but all coming up very shortly. Hopefully Ols will join me in the session. Hello to everyone watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram at F1TS Hub. You can use that same F1TS Hub code at Clips Gaming and also Boss Boxes. You'll get a discount if you do so. We're waiting for our Prestige tier to line up on the grid. 28 laps here in Abu Dhabi. We'll start in daylight and under the floodlights. Let's find out who is going to take the win, who's going to take the heartache in Abu Dhabi. Round 7 of the Prestige tier, season 11. Here we are, about to get underway. Louis leads us off from pole position. It looks like a relatively good start. The Toro Rosso in 4th as Julian gets a better start than his sister team Red Bull. You have to be really careful not to get pinched on the inside there. And all looks pretty clean. The Red Bull of Odem's jumped up further down the field. There doesn't seem to be too many major changes. Anyone going to sling it down the inside? Very tempting to do so. Lots of laps, lots of chances though. I see a bit of front wing, bit of lagging from one of the McLarens there. I think that's Mali. So Toro Rosso and a Haas going side by side. I think that's Switchy and Malloy. You've also got Mali just behind them as well. So all happening, but pretty clean. What looks to be a very clean start so far from this top tier, showing us exactly how you should and shouldn't drive. Is it going to be 3 wide into the braking zone? Seeing Charles move up in position, and oh, the McLaren looks like he's spun it. Who's that? That is Mali. He's spin it back round, wing damage. What's he going to be able to do from here then? I said it's pretty clean. I cursed him. Sorry about that, Mali. One of my good Fortnite friends is Mali, so I'm sure I'll speak to him about that later on. Very close up here. We can see that Suchi Malloy still pretty close, changing position at the moment. Let's go over to Back over to the tyres, and we can see top 11 are the ultra soft at the moment, so close gaps all the way through, just as you'd expect. James Slater pretty close there as well, full tenth of a second. Oh, braking board's gone into turn 1 already. Let's start from board. Look at that, Toro Rosso has a tank slapper. So Sean's going to have a run on him here as they head down. This is a tricky corner, being stuck behind someone so close. Is he going to sling it down the inside? I'm sure Judy will be pretty clean. What's happened to Mallet? He's retired in the pits. I saw that one coming a while off. Louis leads the way though, he doesn't care. Noak's got company of Brady. This looks pretty close as they exit the hairpin. You've also got the VSR Charles going past Black Mamba, so they're side by side as we head down the straight. And would you look at that, yellow flags in sector 1 heading down. Looks like the Mercedes has got the job done. Black Mamba, he needs to be careful here. He's under attack from Beasthouse, who's in 9th position, so the defending champion has wing damage. He'll be nursing that for the first stint. I wonder if anyone will switch over to a 2-stop strategy because of damage. Yellow flags in sector 1 and 2 now. And virtual safety car. So we saw this in the podium tier, and now we've got a virtual safety car in the prestige tier, interestingly enough. So if you're just joining us, we've got a virtual safety car. Louis leading. Brady is ever so close to the Haas ahead of him. Noek, he's got his teammate there for good company. Julian is ahead of Sean. So yellow flags in all 3. Pesky Time and Techno Thriller exchange positions as we head up and down the order. Some of these battles it's almost impossible to follow all of them. Temp Fear lining up Francis, who is just outside of a second now of the car in front of him. There's a Sauber that would look like had a tank slapper there on the last corner. That might have been Heskey Time. And look at Noek still under attack now from these Red Bulls. Once again, Brady ahead of his teammate Odems, who won last time out, sent a late dive bomb down the inside of Canada last lap. He was going to win on penalties anyway, so not much to worry about there. Looks like Odems is possibly closer now to his teammate, but will he be able to do anything? He'll have to be a bit more careful this early in the race. So close on the exit there. This is going to be absolutely key now. Is anyone going to be able to send anything down the inside into the braking zone? It's a corner, it's quite easy to defend in. You can almost push the car out of road if you feel like being firm and closing the door. Seen lots of incidents there in the past, hounding that Haas driver, but not buckling under the pressure. As we flick through the field, we'll stay on board with this shot. Get to see all the cars come through the harbour. Beautiful, nice hotel as well. Wouldn't mind staying there at some point in my life. You never know. Pretty close as well as we see Temp Fear. Yeah, right on the back of VSR Francis. So I wonder if he'll be able to get that job done anytime soon. Wants another clean race, does Temp Fear. No wing damage on his car. He'll be happy to see that. Pesky Time and Techno Thriller look like they're ding-donging. So for last position, but leaving nothing on the table and having fun, that's what we want to see. Here we go. Long back straight, DRS is open. Full throttle as you imagine. Ritz Mix down to standard. Odems has dropped off slightly, so perhaps he's just going to look after those tyres a little bit, let his teammate put Noek under pressure and try and take advantage of a mistake. Cloudy here again in Abu Dhabi. Is Brady going to have a chance here? He's got a good run. Noek goes defensive down the inside. Louis starting to peel away at the front there. Is he going to be able to do the switchback? I don't think he's going to have enough of an advantage this time around. Julian hanging on to Odems as well. We got a movement. Finally, Tempfear. Has he got past? No. Francis has got him back. Tempfear needs to be careful because James Slater is there on the inside. Tries it. Not the best place to overtake, but worth a try to say the least. Pretty close between the two champions from Season 10, Kian and BSAS. Haven't seen these two race too much actually on track this season, as of course we're in round 7, but we're about to see. You've also got Switchy very close behind, so yeah, this is definitely going to get interesting. Looking forward to seeing exactly how the two champions fare up against each other, racing in the same tier this time. What's Kian going to be able to do? Anything. Remember, BSAS does have wing damage. Kian has a little look. Switchy's so close behind. Malloy's there too now. What's this? VSR Charles versus Sean, side by side. Sean's old team. He needs to be careful not to be upset his former bosses. So many battles going on now throughout the field. And look at that. VSR Charles going down the inside. Sean's going to try and get a very, very better exit and open the DRS. Yes, he's going to do just that. Will he be able to do anything though, or will VSR Charles have got the break already? It looks like he might have done. The Renault hanging on to Black Mamba, so close. Look at that. Only Odems and Noek are the only drivers in the top 8 outside of DRS zone. So BSAS we know has wing damage, and you've got so many more as well within DRS later on down the grid. Kian again, very close to our defending champion of the top tier, BSAS. Will BSAS have to convert this strategy? Black Mamba gets himself a penalty. BSAS has to give up on this and maybe pit early onto the softs. We saw earlier in the night that from the podium tier, Lukey went onto the softs on lap 5 and took him all the way to the end to finish second. So after wing damage meant he had to pit early. BSAS doesn't decide. That's what's going to be for him. Lap 6 out of 28. Louis still leads. 1.6 seconds now the gap between the top two. Julian hounding Odems as well. What's King going to be able to do? You have to feel he does go down the inside. So the two champions having a ding dong. This is what we like to see. Goes down the inside again. Is he going to be able to do anything? No, and now is he going to be under attack from the two cars behind? Looks like Malloy's got the better of Switchy. Better exit. He's going to have DRS, so Switchy has to go from attacking to defending, as does Kian. BSAS gets a bit of a breather. Switchy keeps the inside, just touches Kian. I don't think he got any damage from that. We'll have to see. No, it looks like his wincing tap. Malloy goes through though. Tempfear gets ahead of Francis too. James Slater's looking to join the party. Tempfear trying to defend this position. That's 13th at the moment. They head into the next chicane, and it looks like, as we entered it, look at the how close it is. The Ferrari's there, the Force India's there. This is brilliant stuff. It's Heskey is so far off the back now, 42 seconds. Let's have a quick look, see who has come into the pits. That is why he's made a pit stop, so he'll be undercutting everyone on the grid. Close at the front here still, and behind Odems is under attack too. Amazing stuff here. VSR Charles there. Sean under attack from Black Mamba. So Sean of course won the first race of the season in Austria. Hasn't been able to replicate that since then. Here he is, man of the moment. Oz, welcome aboard. We got 18 drivers left, started with 19. Louis led away. We haven't had too many big incidents, just a few little end plate damages. Kian just passes BSAS, so the two former champions, well, defending champions, and Kian gets through and defending now from BSAS, who has wing damage, which is why he's down, struggling in 10th position.
Hello, Nick. It's nice to be here again, here at Abu Dhabi, and hopefully the Prestige tier race will hold some surprises like the previous races.
Yeah, it's been pretty fantastic. We're seeing Sean and Black Mamba go side by side through this section of track. Brilliant stuff. Black Mamba gives Sean a little push off, but I think Sean almost, I don't know, he seemed to get on the power a bit early there. He seemed to be off track before Black Mamba fully got alongside, so I don't want to call that one because I didn't see exactly. Brady challenging for second as well, so close. There's literally so many battles going up and down the field all, so I'm glad you're here because I can't keep track of them all. Look how many DRS zones. Brady's going for the undercut. He's going into the pits. Does he touch the wall there? He gets so close. Maybe bangs it with the side of his tyres, but he's in the pit. That'll prompt Odems back up to the podium position. And yeah, VSO Charles, he's made a move early on in this race too, so he's doing well. And yeah, when's BSAS going to pit? He comes along behind Kian. He does have that wing damage. He needs to come in and get it changed, that's for sure.
Yes, definitely. Through this double corner here, the very first sector, you can lose a lot of time if you have a damaged front wing. Also, you lose quite a lot of grip through those two corners, and they do become quite difficult to take. But he's only 6 attempts behind Kian at the moment, so lining him up for a DRS run. And let's see what happens at the end of this straight.
Yeah, definitely. Just to point out, Brady went all the way from 2nd to 17th place. He just passed for 60. 17th place. So you do a pit stop, and that's how many positions it costs you. Crazy to see the field so close together. The biggest gap after 8 laps is 5 seconds if you exclude Heskey time at the back of the field. So it just shows you all how competitive this field is. And Brady, I don't think that's going to work out for him this undercut. Although it's worth a lot around a long track with lots of corners, he's got so much traffic, it really isn't going to help him.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to have to make sure that he can get through this traffic as quick as he can, even if they're on the quicker compound, as he taps MLA's back end. But he's going to go along the outside, and they're holding it pretty well, and he is still going to be in the slightest chances of taking this position, and he does. So a good overtake there by Brady to get into 50th position. But further up the field, Julian is pitted, and it's promoting Black Mamba and Sean up through the field.
Yeah, Brady gets a penalty there too, so we'll see where Julian drops, but I imagine he's going to drop behind Brady, so just, I don't think this undercut is going to work. So strange one to say the least. You don't often see this. Look at Malloy and Beastas, they're pretty close. They're pretty much side by side. The Toro Rosso is there as well. It's all happening here tonight in Abu Dhabi in this prestige tier. Malloy gets himself a penalty on the inside of Switchy. They're going to go side by side, both try and get Beastas, who tries to get out of, try and stop the slipstream effect.
Yeah, for sure. And a little bit further back, Tempfear is coming under attack from VSR Francis, and also James Slater is trying to join the party. But further up the field, Malloy has just got past Switchy. Whether that was a good defensive move through the chicane at the end of towards the end of sector 2.
Yeah, lots of DRS flaps open. Sean gets himself a penalty as well. He said he probably would, but look at this, Switchy versus Francis versus Tempfear. How are they going to go about this one? It gets past. The Red Bull then goes through as well on those fresher tyres. So opportunistic driving there from Brady. What's he going to be able to do? And it looks like Francis almost lets go. And look at Tempfear goes back down the inside. So yes. Season 5 champion showing us exactly what he can do late on the brakes. That was a brilliant move there. We now see Louis Noet come into the pits. I think those who stay out, this could actually potentially work a little bit better for him. Fresher tyres, lose less time behind traffic. But what do I know? I'm just in the commentary box. Sean in the pits, BSAS in the pits. So it all happening. We'll have to wait till this settles out. But I imagine most drivers going straight from the ultras to the soft tyre to the end of the race. So BSAS will have to fix that wing damage, of course, too. But yeah, yellow flags in sector 1 and 3. I wonder what that's for. Kian spun it. So or had an incident or something. He's lost his front wing. Devastating. He was doing so well.
Yeah, for sure. He might have taken these tyres far too long. I remember last season I had a spin in the exactly same spot from just too much tyre degradation. I think he's left it a lap too late to pit, and he's paid with it with his front wing.
The only other thing I could think of, someone was coming out of the pits, and as you know, two cars along there, they don't go side by side very well, so perhaps that had some sort of effect. Look at Julian after coming out of the pits. He's all over the back of MLA, so we'll have to wait, I think, another lap or two before we run through the order and just work out exactly where everyone is. But look at that, VSR Charles and Odems, good friends off track. They're side by side in terms of nose to tail, and they're battling for first position. Are they going to come into the pits now? Is this overcut going to work for them? I got a feeling Odems might try and stretch this stint out. No, he goes in, so VSR Charles is going to stretch it out.
Yeah, for sure. And all the way from Tempfear to Julian, there's a good train of about 5 cars. And not too long ago, there was a battle that we were talking about. I think it was between Tempfear and VSR Charles. There was a 4-way battle for the 1 position as Black Mamba also goes into the pits, and Kian has made it back.
So Odems is going to come out. So Louis, he's up in 3rd. So even though he obviously pitted quite early, he's up in 3rd already. Brady is in 5th position. So Odems has come out in 11th. This is so hard to keep track of. MLA and James Slater.
Just got past James Slater.
Yeah, going side by
Odems
side.
is in there, and so is Julian.
Crazy stuff here. Absolute scenes in this prestige race around Abu Dhabi. This is probably the most action I've ever seen.
Yes, we're struggling to keep up, but Malloy has just got past VSR Lewis for 2nd position.
Yep, they're about to go side by side, aren't they? Brady's there too, so Brady, who was behind Louis before the pit stops, finds himself there again.
Yes, and Switchy's also there, just behind Brady. And we've also got Odems trying to go on the inside of MLA, and will he make it stick? He has done. And also Julian has pulled off a good move on James Slater, so cracking overtaking here at the F1 TSL Prestige tier. Yeah,
would you look at that? The Haas driver defending now against the Williams, and he has to go off track. Sure. Is this going to allow Brady to get through as well? No, Malloy just does enough to try and keep the position. So VSR Charles in the pits whilst this is all going on.
Yep. And Switchy's also going into the pits, which promotes Noak up into 5th. And Noak isn't too far behind Malloy and Brady.
So would you look at that? Team orders there? Yeah, definitely look like team orders to me. That's good team racing between those boys. We know Malloy is always happy to help his teammate out, as the other way around I'm sure would be exactly. So look at this, Tempfear in 5th position now. You got Odems just behind trying to get through.
And sneaking it on the outside.
Look at that, round the outside of Tempfear. What a move on those fresher tyres. And yeah, ahead of VSR Charles, crucially, who stayed out that extra lap.
Yeah, for sure. It's absolutely fantastic racing, and the strategy calls are going to play a part towards the end of this race. And it's just absolutely fantastic to watch. We're struggling to keep up with what's happening as Julian is trying to make a move on Black Mamba.
Oh, there's an incident there. Francis versus Charles. I tell you what happened there. No, sorry, Francis versus Tempfear. Tempfear let his teammate through, VSR Charles. And where he let his teammate through, Francis then came storming up the inside late on the brakes, just ran into Tempfear, gave him both wing damage. So that's not ideal for Tempfear. He was trying to do the right thing by his team, and it's ended up costing him a bit of damage there. But yeah, you have to say Francis was probably the one bit too hot on the brakes. Has he actually got wing damage? Yeah, he does have wing damage in that Sauber. So pity for them.
And Tempfear just locking up, and that lets MLA through. But previously, before that incident, MLA dropped through the field. I think he was about 7th, and he's recovered it up to 9th. As Lewis puts 139.387 for the fastest lap. And we now have MLA and Francis into the pits, as well as Tempfear. So let's see what tyres they select.
Yeah, Sean's moved up because of that. Bisas moves up, so 10th position for Bisas at the moment. He fixed that front wing in the pits. Not showing us that storming pace that we sometimes see from him, but this race really isn't over, I can tell you that right now. Techno Thriller up to 12th position as well. MLA will come out on those supers and take those to the end of the race. So he's going for the alternate strategy to most of his rivals. We'll see where that gets him. He's been battling with James Slater a lot today. Keying at the back after that mistake or contact or whatever it was. And it's Heskey time after his first pit stop is finally just catching up to these guys. So yeah, the biggest gap now, I think 6 seconds, 8 seconds, something like that across the whole field.
Yeah, definitely. 8.5 seconds from Techno Thriller to MLA, which is the biggest gap. We've also got the, just checking for the shortest, we've got VSR Charles, who's 3 temps behind Odems. So hopefully that'll develop into a nice, tasty battle as they're going through the last sector. But Malloy, he's in 6th position, he's yet to stop. And it'll be interesting to find out where he comes out. I'm probably going to guess around about maybe 12th. But we'll see. Is he going to pit? Yes, he's coming into the pits as we are talking about it. So let's see where he comes out.
Friday on board with Louis for a minute there, just watching him. He's brilliant around this track, one of his favourite from what I hear, and he's super quick. So yeah, not really much more to say about him, as he's going to have to make a mistake or do something bad to lose this race. But Odems currently in 4th position, got Charles just exiting onto the back straight. Behind him, DRS is going to be open. Good friends off track, as I mentioned. Are they going to become fierce rivals on? We'll have to wait and see. Hello to everyone watching. This is our top tier, been pretty exciting so far. It's only even going to get more exciting. Lap 14 out of 28. What can VSR Charles do? Talk us through this one, Alt.
Oh, he's just about to go through the DRS opening phase, and he's opened it up, and he is now chasing Odems into this very, very difficult, tricky chicane section. But he just couldn't get close enough, and let's see if he can. Oh, he's closing up pretty much in the braking zones. So hopefully he can we can see an overtake.
Yeah, Odems defending at the moment from VSR Charles, the Mercedes man, giving it everything that he's got. We'll flip further down the order. Sean's within DRS of Julian at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. We've got Francis as well on the back of Malloy.
Yeah, spotted that one. VSR Charles sets the fastest lap of the race that time round too, so shows you how much he's hounding Odems. And what can Francis do here? Gets a run, isn't able to do anything with it into that corner. Black Mama gets himself a penalty. Really close between these two, Francis and Malloy.
Yeah, definitely. The gap is getting smaller and smaller as they seem. I'm not sure whether you're seeing this, but it seems that they're getting some oversteer in the last corner as they put the power down for the start-finish straight.
I've seen that a lot on all 3 of the streams tonight. I think it could be, well, maybe drivers are struggling with that last corner, or just perhaps they are, you know, getting a bit too early on the throttle, or struggling to keep the rear of the car in a straight line.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's one of the toughest exits in this on this circuit. But as we're still on Francis, he's just opened the DRS to see if he can attack Malloy into this very, very tricky chicane section. But all this battling, they're also catching James Slater as well. So we'll see if there's going to be some top class defending by James Slater this time round as well.
Yeah, that'll give, of course, Malloy DRS, which won't help Francis's cause. He goes down the inside anyway. That's a late move. He just keeps it on track.
Oh wow!
That was a good move there. I'm glad we caught that one on stream.
That was a very, very good move. And we've also got Charles, who's 6 temps behind Odems. I'm not too sure if that gap has gotten bigger, but
it's hovered around, I think, 4 to 6 temps, so looking pretty evenly, as is the gap between Sean and Julian. That stayed about 7 tenths the entire time, so shows you how close and competitive these guys are. You really need to not make mistakes, otherwise you'll be vulnerable, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just looking at the the position changes, and the biggest climbers, VSR Charles and Techno Thriller, they've both climbed 4 positions, and then the biggest losers at the moment, disregarding Mali with the DNF, is Kian, who's dropped 5 positions at the moment. But we're just about halfway through, we've just gone past halfway through the race, and there will be plenty more position changes until then.
Just on board with Tempfear. I think he could possibly retire. He was in the wall, had to kind of cut across the track to get back into the pit lane. Looks like he's going to fit the ultra soft tires and maybe go to the end wing change, but it's disappointing for him. He was just inside the points earlier on. VSR Louis, meanwhile, the gap's opened up. If he wins tonight, it'll be a full house for Williams, meaning they would have won every tier. So that happened earlier in the season, I think round 5 with I believe McLaren, so interestingly that we could see it happen with Williams here tonight as well.
Yes, that is it's something special. It doesn't usually happen in all 3 tiers, so when it does, it's usually a really special event, and it'll be a fantastic weekend for Williams if that happens.
Yeah, it definitely could. I'm sure they would take that. Here we go though. DRS open for VSR Charles. Can he do anything on Odems this time around? Well, we'll have to wait and see. I imagine Odems will want to keep him behind at this stage of the race. Noek, of course, in front, and his teammate further up the road. Just a second ahead now of Noek. So podium position's not decided just yet. Sean hanging on as well to Julian for 7th and 8th position. We can see that Switchy is closing in on BSAS, so that'll give him confidence. Will Switchy closing in on the defending champion?
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't seem to be BSAS's night tonight. I'm not too sure where he qualified, but he seems out of position. But his pace, he
qualified 8th.
So his pace around Yas Marina circuit isn't up there like it usually is in the other circuit. So it's interesting to see that, and this gives the opportunity for other drivers to seize the moment and get the positions that they're sorting after.
Yeah, I have to agree. And look at this, Francis defending from James Slater at the moment. Running right close to the wall there as well, both of them.
Yeah, they're keeping it clean. They're not putting it into the wall, which is fantastic. And he's keeping hold of Francis. He's not letting him go too far away, and hopefully he can pull off a DRS move down the back straight. But with VSR Charles, it doesn't seem like he's getting the straight line speed to overtake Odems, but I just think he's struggling a bit with the straight line speed. He's got a good cornering speed, but I think his setup isn't allowing him to get the straight line speed that he needs.
Got some wing damage, come into the pit, so he was the first driver to pit, I think, on lap 2 earlier in the race. Obviously that compromised his race a huge amount, and excuse me, now he's retiring from the session. So Tempfear will gain a position, won't put a smile on his face though, that's for sure. I think Tempfear has wing damage as well, so yeah, he's driving around without a care in the world at the moment, is Tempfear. Another penalty, creating his own track almost. Kian grabs himself a penalty just for good measure. Closest battle is still this one for 4th. See Sean still hanging on to Julian, so crazy to see them literally 7 or 8 tenths for what, 4 or 5 laps now.
Yeah, for sure. Before the pit stops, they were all very, very close together, and now that we've had a couple of pit stops, it seems like everyone is still sticking towards the time gaps that they've got. So everyone's very even on pace, and it's all going to be decided on pit stop times, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a long pit stop here, so again, you're in lap and out lap. It all is all part of it due to the nature of the way the pit, obviously, exit comes out onto the track. So really important to just nail exactly what you're doing. Interestingly enough, you saw that Brady was chasing Noak down in the first stint, and now you're seeing the reverse of this, the second place. So Brady under threat now as Odem's closes in as well. So this battle for second is really hotting up.
Yes, it is, and VSR Charles is only a second behind this group as well. So we could see a 4-car scrap for second place. But yeah, we've also got James Slater who's keeping behind Francis at about half a second as 10th has now been disqualified.
Too many corner cuts.
That's the end of his night. But yeah, James Slater, he's keeping that gap constant, as VSR Francis is going awfully wide throughout the last couple of corners.
Yeah, interesting battle up at the front here. You can see that the two Red Bulls have put Noak in a sandwich at the moment. VSR Charles has dropped off slightly, so perhaps using his tyres up too quickly. This one at the back as well, James Slater ahead of Francis at the moment. Past. Yeah, so he's gonna perhaps get a better run here as the Sauber driver as they head down this log straight. DRS, I imagine, will be open for James Slater. Might get it. No, Francis has got it. So DRS in full swing, or full flap, I should say.
Yeah, definitely. He's got the position. All he's got to do is keep it in the corner, and he has. Yes, he has. I think there was a couple of mistakes on Francis' part, but James Slater, he's coming back at him on the outside. So let's see if he can keep his nose next. Oh, we have a slight tank slapper there, and this has brought Malloy into the picture as well. And there's contact, and Kian's also there as well. Oh,
yeah, so Kian took advantage of that.
Kian's made two positions.
Yeah, brilliant driving there from Kian. He was able to. Malloy just slung it down the inside at a corner where he kind of just stopped James Slater turning in. So James Slater was the biggest loser from 13th to 16th in the space of probably about a sector, but I feel like he'll be able to fight on from there still. He does have wing damage, I believe, so does Malloy. Kian looks okay, Francis looks okay, so MLA down in 12th, lonely race for him so far. Only driver, I believe, to start on the soft tyre, so he's kind of been on his own. Sean still chasing down Julian. We'll ride on board and see if we can see how they're managing to keep such close pace.
Yeah, definitely. As we said earlier, everyone has got similar pace, and it's making it very difficult for them to pass each other unless they've got DRS. And this is probably the best race so far that I've seen in the Prestige tier that is showing how close everyone is pace-wise.
Yeah, it's been amazing battles throughout the whole grid. Malloy moving down now, so Kian, he got past Kian again, and now look, James Slater's having his turn to gain a couple of positions, so these guys brilliant racing. Down the outside goes James Slater, manages to keep the position. Yeah.
But here comes, is Kian coming back? Oh, there was a block there, and I think Kian was lucky that he didn't lose any of his front wing with slight bits of contact. Oh, there was a Sauber. Francis is crushed.
What's happened here as well?
Crushed in sector 3.
Odos versus Noak.
He's lost his front wing.
Sorry to. We've got also what's going on here. Noak's fallen down 2 positions Sorry, not 2 positions, a position to Odem. So Odems is up to 3rd. Charles is now attacking him as they head down the straight. We'll come to what happened with Francis in a second. Is Charles going to go down the inside? He does. Sorry, recovering from a cold, so I had to stop and cough there. But yeah, here comes Charles again. Is he going to be able to get this job done? No, it looks like he's used a bit too much of his tyres.
Oh, Noak's gone wide. Noak's gone too deep. And his contact is still, banging of wheels and side pods.
Very rough racing there, to say the least. Swoops in without a care in the world for Noak being there. Nose to tail. Tricky braking zone, that one. And yeah, the 2 Red Bulls chase off into the distance and leave Noak thinking, how have I gone from podium to 5th place? But nevertheless, we'll see what he can do from there. Sean still got the same gap to Julian, closed it slightly, so are we going to be able to see some sort of pass here? But whilst we're talking about that, what happened with Francis then?
Francis is now
Retired from the
retired, but as James Slater was attempting an overtake with Kian in sector 3, I noticed there was a Sauber doing quite a few 360s and into the barrier as well in the background, and it was VSR Francis. He went into the barrier at some speed, but he was lucky enough not to lose any wheels, but just his front wing, and I think he'll be disappointed with how that last part of his race has gone.
Yeah, I definitely think he will. So Techno Thriller picks up a penalty. He's under attack now from MLA. Only 0.3 of a second between those two. Are we going to see a move here for some points? Well, I say points, just outside the points. 11th place. Will it become of anything else? Lap 23 out of 28. This race feels like it's been going on forever so far tonight. It is a long one. And 15 drivers left in the session, and look at the bottom 2 as well. The bottom 3 really giving it all. Good show, just as good as the top boys.
Yeah, definitely. We've got our own little pockets of races at the moment. We've got Kian to Malloy, who are battling really, really well. You've also got Julian and Sean who are battling, and the top from 2nd to about 5th, you can pick up some positions. So it's good. We've got about 3 different races going on at the same time, and it's good to watch how each of them are developing and how they're going to finish towards the end of this race.
Yeah, Malloy, James Slater and Kian constantly changing position. VSR Francis involved in that, of course, until he retired. So spinning out of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was the Sauber man. What can Noak do? Can he try and get back into the top 4? Can Sean do something about Julian? Black Mamba in a bit of a race of his own tonight, as is BSAS this second stint. So Switchy just holding on to the defending champion. BSAS won't be happy with 2 points though, I can tell you that right now. James Slater, of course.
No, he won't.
Carry on.
Yeah, no, BSAS will be quite disappointed with only the 2 points. With the championship lead as well, it'll put him in a possible position where he's going to be losing points to his nearest rivals. And although it spices up the championship, he wants to stay as far in the lead as he can to guarantee that he wins the championship as soon as possible.
Yeah, obviously his lead took a bit of a beating last time out when he got disqualified for reversing off the grid, which obviously didn't happen. So yeah, bit of a painful experience there for him.
Yeah, definitely. Only taking 2 points from a possible 50 is not the best of form that you want when you're the championship leader. So, he had a bit of oversteer there. and it's compromised his entry into the first couple of corners of the first sector.
Yeah, Techno Thriller under attack from MLA. Of course, he won the championship, the Constructors' Championship, with Mercedes last season. Made the switch to Ferrari, himself and Sean, and all over the back of Techno Thriller, who finished third in the Drivers' Championship, but was able to win the Constructors' Championship. So, just shows you some brilliant guys up in this top tier. And of course, in case you're wondering, this is F1 TS Hub. We race every Friday night. We have 3 tiers, 7, 8 and 9 PM. You can check them out, www.f1tshub.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram as Noek, really on the back of ESR Charles now. And you can also use the code F1TSHub for a discount on Clinch Gaming and Boss Boxes. So yeah, make sure you check that out. All the information, as I mentioned, on our social media accounts. Louis gets himself a penalty. I don't think he needs to worry too much with an 8-second lead out front.
And as you were speaking, MLA has got past Techno Thriller, and he's pulling out a sizable gap already. He's got 6 temps on him already. So MLA could be powering away for 11th. Not what Techno really wants to see.
Definitely,
and Noek.
Yeah, that's the one I'm watching. Yeah, so Charles got a bit of a tank slapper.
Yes, he did. As Noek, he's got DRS now, and hopefully he can have a good go at Charles in this chicane section. However, he is on the slow compound, but he's doing really well to keep at 4 temps.
He definitely is. As they head down, DRS is open into the braking zone. We saw someone make a move earlier on this, laid on the brakes, stopped the car in front turning in, was able to get the job done. Sean still within the second of Julian, but just can't do anything about it. Techno Thriller just holding on. Battle at the back, Malloy, James Slater, Kian still going on.
Yeah, definitely the gaps are slightly growing, as Malloy does have DRS on James Slater, but James Slater also has DRS on Kian, so they're cancelling each other out.
Maybe a bit of slipstream glitch involved here as well, due to people leaving the lobby. I know that sometimes affects things.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those glitches that dampens the race down, and if you're not aware of it, you just think that you haven't got straight line speed, and yeah, it does affect the drivers. But as soon as you know that it's happening, you kind of put more effort into the corners to see if you can gain time for the corners.
Definitely do. Hello to everyone watching. We are coming to the close of another Friday night. This is the Prestige tier course, our top tier. You're joined by myself and Ols in the commentary box, penultimate lap here. Are we going to see any last couple of lap position changes? Been a bit of a breeze for Louis. He had to come through the traffic, as did most of the guys who stopped early. So that was pretty interesting to see how they negotiated, all quite cleanly as well. So yeah, pretty interesting to say the least. But Noek so close to VSO Charles, but just doesn't seem to be able to do anything about it. Sean has got the closest he's ever got to Julian. Don't know whether Julian's made a mistake, but Sean really looking and thinking about getting that 7th position off of one of his rivals. Switchy on the back of BSAS as well, so that's interesting to see them catch up. Look at Noek, goes down the inside of the last corner.
Oh, he's
able to get the job done.
Fantastic overtake there, and possibly now the super softs are starting to wear out and lose the grippiness that they have more than the soft tyre.
Odem's closing in on his teammate as well, 1.3, so that could be a last lap challenge. Louis coming down the back straight. Odems is 1.1 behind his teammate. Who else we got? VSO Charles still attacking now the other way round. It's time to defend. rather than attack Noik, and vice versa for you, Charles. We can also see Sean going to give it a go down the inside, goes down the inside. Is there enough room? Forces his way through, wheel bangs, and Julian not happy with that one, weaving to say, come on man, that was a bit of a barge. I have seen that quite a lot tonight though, to be fair, drivers doing that down the inside. Look at Switchy trying to go down the inside of BSAS, trying to take a point off the championship leader, who's obviously out of position. Yellow flags in sector 1. James Slater and Kian also. Techno Thriller's off the track. That's what the yellow flags are for.
Yeah.
What can Switchy do? Down the outside. Is BSAS going to give him room? Switchy's going to try and do the switchback. Try and say that 5 times fast, pardon the pun. And I don't think BSAS cleverly places his car. Don't think going to be able to do anything about that. I'm going to switch over to Louis because he's coming out the last corner. He's waving, the fireworks are about to begin, and he wins in Abu Dhabi. Welcome back to F1 TS Hub, that's for sure, Louis. Brady, he's going to beat his teammate to finish in 2nd position. Odense will take 3rd. Noik will come home after seating 4th from Charles. Crosses the line just ahead. No, Charles got him on penalty, so would you look at that? Black Mamba comes home in 6th. Sean takes 7th ahead of Julian jumps up to 6 on penalties. Yeah,
he's
so
down to 8. Penalties are playing the part.
BSAS comes across the line to take 9th, just ahead of Switchy, who jumps him on penalties. Would you look at that?
Oh, there we go.
MLA comes across the line, take 11th outside the points. Kian recovers to 12th, and he's got James Slater just behind him. So, wonder if any penalties will come into effect here. Both very clean drivers, of course, as they cross the line. There you have it. Techno Thriller, the last man. Malloy got disqualified on that last lap as well, which was a little bit strange, but Techno Thriller. BSAS left the session. He's not a man who wants to hang around after that result. You know that won't help his championship challenge. Louis, you have to say, who could have stopped him today? Nobody.
Yeah, very, very good win by Louis, and a well-deserved win, and that gives Williams a clean sweep for this weekend. So fantastic race weekend for Williams.
Yeah, definitely. So pretty good stuff to see them all doing that. And would you look at the hands clapping from all the teams? Good stuff, good fight, and yeah, pretty good race to say the least. I can't really fault it at all. Let's run through the order. Everyone getting penalties except for MLA, I believe. Yes, everyone except MLA.
Yes, MLA
getting penalties. So good boy, MLA. All right, VSR Louis takes the win. VSR Brady takes 2nd. Odems takes 3rd. VSR Charles takes 4th. Noik takes 5th. Julian takes 6th. 7th is Black Mamba. Sean is 8th. Switchy is 9th, 10th is BSAS, 11th is MLA, 12th is Kian, 13th is James Slater, 14th Techno Thriller, 15th would be Francis, 16th would be Hesky Time, 17th is Mali, 18th is Malloy, 19th is Temp Fear. Both last two disqualified. So, there you have it. Thank you all for watching. Across all 3 of our tiers tonight, been another fantastic night of racing at F1 TS Hub. Thank you for joining me in the commentary box, Oz. We will leave it here for this week, and we will be back next week, 7 PM for the podium, 8 PM for the pinnacle, 9 PM for the prestige tier, and we're heading to China. Join me later in the late night talk show, Let's Talk F1 TS Hub. That's at 10:30 PM UK time. We'll be live for that shortly. Thank you very much, and good night.